Hello there, darlings. Welcome to the Clockwork Cabaret. It has been requested that since it is Emmett's birthday this weekend that I should perhaps refrain from being mean to her. I suppose I could do that. After all, she is an old, wilted, delicate flower that is approaching the autumn of her youth. And now, on with the show.
And with the sound of the cuckoo, you know that it is time for the Clockwork Cabaret. Hooray! I am that slumbering beast that comes up from the oceany depths that is known as Emmett Davenport.
A whale shark.
Yeah, okay. I don't know where I was going with that.
It's your birthday and you'll be a Lovecraftian nightmare if you want to.
Exactly. That's how I feel.
And I am Lady Attercop, seeker of mystery, fortune, and monster boyfriends. You know, the 3 Bs. Or, wait, no, only one of those started with B. The 2 Fs and the 1 MB.
This is
and also maybe an NB. Hey, what's up?
It's already
I don't know how you identify Mothman. Call me.
It's already my favorite show.
I don't care.
Yes, so...
What the listeners can't see are my excessive finger guns.
There was some great finger gun action there.
Thank you. I feel like they could sense them, though.
I would hope so. Yeah.
And it's Emmett's birthday!
It is! And I am old! And that it's fine. That is good. Continuing to age is a sign of progress.
Well, it's better than the alternative.
I know. Really. You know.
The sweet embrace of death.
I'm reaching that age where, supposedly in our society and culture, I will soon no longer be of value to the world. But I feel like
I stopped being of value to the world long ago.
Well, yeah, there is that, and also I feel like that no, I am only I'm like a fine wine. I've just gotten better with age. In that weird, and then I become vinegar. Actually, it's kind of like a wine.
Like if you continue that thought,
then I become a vinegar, and then I'm still useful. So
So those super fancy aged vinegars are quite expensive.
Yeah, well, also you can make pickles. And I've been making lots of pickles with things, so I've had to use a lot of vinegar. So, it's very, very useful. It's also a disinfectant and a cleaning product, so, it's great. I want to age like a fine vinegar.
That's a thing.
I don't know.
Screw the wine. Let's age like fine vinegar.
Well,
we only get saltier and more bitter as we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I have wine, I'm gonna drink it. But if I have vinegar, I'm gonna hold on to it. It's useful.
Do something useful with it.
Yeah. Yes. See, there's a difference. Wine, I'm gonna drink, and it's gonna be gone, and I'm not gonna remember anything about it other than the fact that the artwork on the bottle was very nice. That $5 was well spent, is what I'm gonna think.
Oh, big spender.
I am. $5.
Hey.
It's a fancy bottle of wine.
It's you, a $5 bottle of wine, a blackout.
Yeah.
Perfect birthday.
That's how I feel like my birthday should go.
Well, It's your first birthday It's your first pandemic birthday.
Hopefully it's my only pandemic birthday.
Becky and I have already had one each, and they kind of blow chunks. So
Yeah. No.
welcome to the club.
Thank you. My plan is a very fancy one, of which it's going to be to go and pick up a bottle of nice gin from the liquor store and grocery store sushi. Yeah, so that's,
Not even like.
No, I'm not going. No, there's no place close that has sushi, and anywhere else has people, and I don't know what they're doing for protection.
That is also true.
I'm not. No, it's like the 90s out there. I'm not having unprotected sushi. There's.
It's worse than the 90s, because at least in the 90s, I had to either share a needle or get a blood transfusion or have sex with a person in order to get infected. This I might bump into you in Harris Teeter,
and they cough.
and that's, they don't even have to cough. They just have to pull their mask down and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's
yeah, no, it's far worse. It's far worse. Yeah,
no.
Yeah. So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, grocery store sushi, a bottle of nice gin.
There you go.
That is my birthday. Rupert apparently has something. He's been getting packages.
Oh.
And every time I go to look, he's like, "No, don't look at this." So I'm hoping that it's something for me. Or
That's
he's
either very exciting or very concerning.
Yes, it's
There's no
otherwise
middle slider.
there's gonna
on
be
that.
a taxidermy squirrel army in my backyard, or something useful. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey.
We'll see what happens.
In the Corona times, a taxidermy squirrel army would be very useful. Just put it out front. No one will come within 6 feet of your house.
That might be.
Oh
wait,
yeah.
Maybe I might be on board for that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on board with this plan. Ask him if he's got a guy. Does he know somebody who can get me taxidermy squirrels?
I'm sure he does.
I already live down the steep hill of doom. But then I think if I put like squirrel sentries on the top of it, definitely no one's coming down here.
I will have to. I don't know if the taxidermied squirrels are like weather safe. I don't know.
We'll put them in little raincoats.
Yeah, they might need an umbrella.
A raincoat, an umbrella, and then it's both weather resistant and whimsical. I see no downside. I could shellac them. That won't be upsetting.
I will ask him for you, and he'll let me.
Maybe just the skeletons. Just the skeletons shellac.
That
also won't be upsetting.
That will be upsetting. Put them on posts at the top of the at the top
as
of your
warning
hill.
to the other squirrels.
Also works. I'll mention this. He probably has a guy.
If he has a guy.
He probably
has a guy.
He probably has a guy. I'm just saying.
I did horrify my cosmetology class because we were discussing lighteners and developers, as one does in a cosmetology class.
And did you explain that you can use them to clean bones?
The teacher's like, "What's that?"
I said, "Did you explain that you could bleach bones with them?"
I did.
Of course.
The teacher asked, do developers in and of themselves, do they have the ability to lift, to give you any lift? Do they do anything to the hair if you don't add like either color or lightener to them? And I was like, well, yeah, because I've used developer to bleach bones. I'm sitting in the back and everyone stops and turns around and looks at me. I'm like, it was for an art project. And they were animal bones. They were sheep bones.
It was a thing
that I got from someone else. And they died of natural causes. Like everything I said, it wasn't improving the situation.
No.
It's just like, wait,
None of it's not true.
none of it is not true. And none of you will break into my car or my house later because
I have just
you want to
explained
be
it.
an art project because you can.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've used hair bleach to clean up the remnants of hair products from when I've dyed my own hair in my bathroom. So it's just using the powdered bleach with water.
Yeah, because you can
So
also use the powdered bleach
yeah,
with water too.
yeah.
So,
So yeah,
pro tip to all you creeps out there, and I say that with love in my heart for the creeps. You can use like a low volume developer to bleach bones. That's because the active ingredient is hydrogen peroxide.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And the developer comes in a cream form, so it's easier to control than the liquidy stuff that you get from the grocery store.
That's a
FYI.
good
Or the
lesson
bones of your enemies. If you want the bones of your enemies to look white and shiny before you shellac them,
to scare your neighbors
and put them as a warning to others,
to
there
stay
you
away.
go. Just a little 10 volume on there. Look great.
And that has been Bone Fun with Lady Attercop.
By the way, guess what your birthday present is?
Is it bones?
It might be bones.
Oh, don't tease. You know I like them.
We are two people that if somebody was like, "I've got you bones for your birthday," we'd be like, "Oh," and then be disappointed if that was not true.
I would be disappointed.
Both of us. Oh,
Like,
what kind of bones?
don't tease. I had an Addams Family moment today, and I had to hold it in so hard because I knew that no one else that I was talking to would appreciate it. The weather was really dreary and kind of gross today, and at my second job, which is an office job that I am doing in slight protest, but no, I'm doing it to help the cafe. Uh, I we were all talking about the weather and gloomy, and I was like, I really wanted to say, oh yes, it's perfect seance weather. And I was like, don't do it. No one will get it. No one will appreciate it. You will then have to explain the whole thing. Shush.
Oh, it could be
Shush.
worse.
And
I did Mr. Ducky's hair at school this week. And you know how we are. You've been
Yes.
around us. Listeners,
I know
if
you.
you listen to our other podcast, you know how we are. And at one point, I just said, and I can't, he can't come back. He cannot come back. It's a school setting. I'm not supposed to curse.
Oh yeah, it's very hard.
I curse too much around my significant other. And at one point, I just said a little too loudly, "Yeah, you'll get eaten by a pterodactyl or some shit." And I was like, I'm sorry, fellow classmates. And then just everybody's like, head is just like, okay, we have to. What?
What?
Like, no, we're talking about the paleo diet, and we don't want to be on the paleo diet because people died really young in the paleo in that age. Like they died at like 20, and then they got eaten by pterodactyls or some shit. I know pterodactyls didn't actually live there. It was a comedy bit.
Yes, that was funny.
We're trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't yell pterodactyls and shit in a learning environment. It is not conducive to learning about hair.
No, pterodactyls don't have any.
No.
I mean,
they had feathers.
If you were talking about
Totally
like
different.
the pterodactyl's beehive, you know.
Yeah, well, a pterodactyl can have a sweet beehive.
Yeah. Yeah, got a lot of lift there.
A little lift there. Put it on the back of that little spiny guy. The technical term for whatever that bone is that juts out the back of their head.
Yeah, it's like it's not a dorsal.
Guy.
It's the spiny thing. Yeah.
Spiny guy. Yeah.
You know.
Like
the windy man.
And, the Latin term, of course, would be spinous gaius. Don't look it up. It's true. Put that on your
Totally,
test. It's totally
it's
accurate.
totally true. And with that note, I'm gonna press this button.
Like any red-blooded gentleman of leisure, you enjoy the civilized entertainment of watching animals fight. Why wouldn't you? However, until now, you were limited to the common chicken and the boring bear. Never fear, sports fans. The Creature Combat Arena will blow your mind with a dazzling array of unique fauna free-for-alls. Join us Monday for Crossed Zebras. Tuesday, Narwhal Face Fighting. Wednesday, New England Clam Pounder. Thursday, Boomslang, Boomerang, Bombardier, Balderdash. And Friday, the Sleepy Panda Slap Fight. The Creature Combat Arena. We are truly terrible people.
So, let's talk about cocktails. Let's do our little Lushington's Lounge
Oh.
bit. So, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a cocktail with a long and sordid history.
What is it?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm drinking a cider.
Oh. I feel like that's fine.
Bold Rock hard cider, apple flavored, as most ciders are, and comes in a can.
Oh, you're classy.
It's recyclable.
Excellent.
Yeah, so there we are. That's what I'm having because that's what we had in the house. We listeners, what you don't know is we recorded this yesterday.
Oh, and we had fancy drinks.
And I had a cocktail then, a suffering bastard. But Emmett tried to assassinate me from the podcast for her birthday because, I don't know what her reasons were.
I wanted to be the princess.
I caught her, though.
I wanted to be the pretty, pretty princess.
It didn't pick up any of my microphone. And then it just sounded like Emmett was a crazy person talking to herself for 45 minutes.
Yes, so it was, she had a suffering bastard.
A suffering bastard yesterday, which is a shot of bourbon, a shot of gin, stay with me, an ounce of lime juice, a couple of dashes of bitters, and topped off with ginger ale, and it's very good.
Well, today I am drinking a Argentinian drink.
Ooh.
I am
Is
having...
it wine?
What?
Is it wine?
No.
Argentinian wine? I
am drinking a Fernet and Coke, otherwise known as a Francisco, or I think it's also called a Franciscoita or something. It's little. There's a little diminutive nickname for it too that I can't remember, but but apparently Argentina is the only other place besides Italy where they actually make Fernet Branca.
You probably know what that is?
Because no one else likes it?
No, there's a lot of Italians in Argentina.
Yeah, no, that's, I know.
No, that's the actual reason.
Yeah, no, that's totally. And if you're not familiar with Fernet Branca, it's a bitters digestive liqueur that has a bunch of herbs in it, and I happen to really like it, and I like it in Coke.
Yeah, it's good in Coke.
It is, and it's actually a great hangover cure, as well as being known as the bartender's friend is also a nickname for it, because it is a drink where you can appear that you are drinking, but you're not actually imbibing too much alcohol.
Right, because
it's
low.
Yeah, it's a low alcohol, and also in some areas, people can buy you drinks if you're working as a bartender, and so that is something that bartenders will make for themselves as oh yes, I'm totally making myself a drink. Let me go over here and make this. Look, I'm pouring a bottle.
I'm taking this bottle and I'm pouring
that in there, and then I'm gonna drink it. Yeah.
Well, my cider is also rather low alcohol. It's a 4.7, which is a respectable cider amount.
Yes.
It's not one of those crazy high gravity ones.
I will tell you that the reason I'm having this is because I had bourbon and Coke earlier.
Oh. He was drinking hard liquor before.
I made gumbo. I made birthday gumbo, early birthday week gumbo, and I was drinking a bourbon and Coke.
How very southern of you.
I know. I was feeling it.
Sounds
also-
good. I had peanut butter curry. It's not a. It's a thing
It's a thing.
that we eat. I'll tell you the peanut butter curry recipe too.
It's peanut butter.
It's a cup of peanut butter, a tablespoon of curry powder, a little bit of third of a cup of soy sauce, coconut milk or water to thin the sauce off, and then whatever vegetables you want to toss in there. Serve over rice. It's very good.
Mm.
Throw a little sriracha in there if you wanted some extra spice or some chili crisp. It's cheap. It's vegan. It's delicious.
Excellent. My gumbo is not vegan or vegetarian.
This is that's one of my favorite poor foods because it's again a cup of peanut butter is a lot of peanut butter, but it's filling. It's got some protein. It's cheap. You can feed it to a lot of people without and tweak it for dietary restrictions. And it's unusual enough that people are like, "Oh, that sounds fancy." And you're like, "It is not."
Oh yeah, no, that's as a child. Here, this will be a fun birthday story. As a small child,
This could be sad.
no, I hope not. Up until I was like a teenager, one of the things my family did for like if it's your birthday, you get to pick the meal for dinner as your birthday dinner. And my selection was this thing that my mom would always go, "Really? That's what you want for your birthday?" I'd be like, "Yes, that is what I want. Don't ask me other questions, woman. Just make me the stupid food that I want."
As a small child, that was your. Don't ask me questions, woman.
I want this.
Give me my food.
So it was tuna curry. It was the weird, like, I know now that it is a thing that my mom just made up because we were poor. But it was cabbage, onions, tuna, curry powder, salt and pepper over rice.
This is like a German person saw curry and was like, "What could be in there? I don't know, cabbage, onions."
Well,
sounds right.
My mom was a terrible cook, but she put so much curry powder that it made me happy, and it was spicy and great.
It was a spice.
It was
You're
a
like,
spice.
"Oh my god, there's a spice in the food."
She would sometimes make it fancy by putting shrimp instead of tuna into it.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, that was the thing, and for years as a child, that was what I would ask as my birthday dinner, and she would just be like, "Seriously, this was a thing I made. It cost like $10 to make this for all of us. Like,
a real deal.
This is the thing you want for your birthday? We could go get pizza." Like
this is a Midwestern Minnesota mom heard of this new dish from the East called curry.
Yeah, no. For some reason it was
cabbage.
For some reason it was a thing, and I just wanted it. I mean, now I want sushi, or I would go get Thai food, or actual real Indian curry would be good, or Thai curry or something like that. Like, but no, as a small child, tuna curry. That was what I wanted.
Curry is not like a good Indian or
yeah, no.
But it's good. We used to eat in my family, our super cheap meal was cowboy stew.
Let's see. Ground beef?
Oh yeah. It's actually mince. Which is a very Eastern.
It's just the fancier version of ground beef.
Yeah, it's ground beef with a few basic, not even spice is too strong a word, but we didn't want to eat anything called mince because in my family we did eat mincemeat pies. The fruit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I am familiar. At Christmas, so we were like, we don't want to eat a pie for supper. I don't want raisins. So my mom was like, "Oh no, this is cowboy stew," and it is literally ground beef, onion, Worcestershire or Worcestershire or however you pronounce it, so, like some dashes of that, uh, tomato paste, and you serve that over noodles.
Oh, that's SOS.
Shit on a shingle.
Yeah, that's also SOS. Yeah.
It comes by many names, and
Which
it
you would
is
Yeah, the difference is you're putting it on noodles, whereas I think SOS you put it on toast.
yeah. Well, there were a lot of us.
Yeah.
So you can't feed all them kids. Nobody gets an individual slice of bread. You need
That's
that
just
bread
crazy
for tomorrow.
talk. That's
That's too expensive.
That's your lunch for tomorrow.
We need that bread for tomorrow. Today we have this bucket, this giant tub of egg noodles that cost 39 cents. So that's what you get the mince over.
Oh yeah.
The egg noodles.
So it's like poor man's stroganoff.
Stroganoff, I think, has more spices in
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah. No.
And salt and pepper to taste.
Oh, of course. No, and also to be fair, my mother was a terrible cook. So,
My mom was a good cook. She was just broke and had a bunch of kids.
well, yeah. I mean, we were poor, but she was a terrible cook. So as soon as I reached an age where I could actually reach the stove, so like 15, 16, I don't know. No, actually I was like 12, I think.
Well, you are very short.
I'm very
so
small.
It did take you till
It took me a
15,
little longer. I had to use a chair sometimes.
It was 32 and
my
using
little
a chair.
my little sister had to pick me up, things like that. Carry me on her shoulders because she's a lot taller than me. It was very strange. But yeah, but until I reached a certain age, when I became the cook of the house, then we had a lot more varied menu. There was many meals that were spent where my mom would play the game, if I can eat it, you can eat it.
Oh, God.
Yes. To which there were a few times she lost. Because it would be like, we're both looking at her going, well, you eat it first. Because I'm not gonna.
My dad, one time, I don't know where my mom was, what happened. She started supper, she had to leave. My dad had to finish supper. And he just got it into his head that he was going to make this expressive dish. He was probably drunk. Looking back on it, I'm 100% sure he was drunk. Yeah. Because what you have to understand is that my father worked in kitchens.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
My dad ran kitchens. So, like, this wasn't dad's gonna make dinner, like a sitcom from the 80s. Poor old dad doesn't know how to turn the stove on. My father worked in kitchens. He knew how to cook. Drunkenness is the only thing that makes sense now, looking back on it. He made some unholy concoction that he deemed Attercop stew. And I think it was just everything in the fridge and every spice in the cabinet went into this monstrosity. And none of us would eat it.
Did
he was super insulted.
Did he eat it?
He tried to feed it to the dogs, and the dogs wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, see, that's a sign. Yeah, my mother...
The dogs ate cat poop out of the cat box, and this had hot dogs in it, and they wouldn't touch it, so...
That's a lot. Yeah,
That drunk cook.
My mother once made this...
May you rest in peace, Dad. I'm sorry, but you know you were drunk.
Oh, yeah, no. My mother once made this casserole, and I use the phrase very loosely. She realized we didn't have rice, but we did have kashi. And in the late 80s, early 90s, kashi, if you're not familiar, is a breakfast grain.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are not
they're not compatible. They're not interchangeable. It had raisins. It had raisins and dates. Also, at this particular time, it wasn't instant kashi. It was uh you had to cook it for like 2 hours or something. It was a long process to make it actually edible. But she just decided, I'm gonna make it just like rice. And so she cooked
Raisins and all.
she just put it in there. She also threw in some carrots and some onions, and then I think there was some cheese at some point, and she was trying she and
all.
we were vegetarian, so so there wasn't any meat in it at all, and it was just all going into the pot, and then she cooked it, and then I just remember her glopping it into the bowls and looking at it, kind of going, I oh good, mush, like this is gonna be great, and then trying to eat eat it and taking one spoonful and realizing that it wasn't all the way cooked. Like,
Right.
there were hard parts that shouldn't be hard, and then
Right.
there were raisins and carrots and onions where they
Oh,
shouldn't, and cheese where there shouldn't be. And it's kind of sweet and kind of weird, and that was one of the versions of the game. If I can eat it, you can eat it. And my sister and I were both, you know, we ate a spoonful and then set it down and was sitting there waiting for her to get her bowl. And she's like, "Why aren't you guys eating? Aren't you hungry?" No, we're very full. Very, very full. You
No,
had
we
one
got some of
bite.
that crunchy
What do you
mush, and we went, "Oh, I'm
And
done."
yeah, and she was like, "Oh my gosh. You're like, just eat it. Like, what else I made the food. It's here. Just make it. Just eat it. Get it. You need to eat." And we're like, "Well, you eat it."
You try it
You
first.
try it, because both of us are not gonna eat it. And she was like, "Oh, if I can eat it, you can eat it." And she took a bite, and then she went, um, "So, McDonald's?"
Vegetarians going to McDonald's will take 15 fillet of fishes.
Yes, yeah.
The
Yeah,
largest of your fries.
we basically ate all the fish fillets and french fries,
Oh
and
no.
then that food was thrown out, and we were never allowed to speak of it again.
Yep. Yep.
Because, oh my god, like, no, kashi and rice are not interchangeable.
No, they are not even the same thing, especially if one comes with sugar
Yeah.
and raisins and dates already. I think this might change the flavor profile
Yeah,
just a
no.
little.
No, and she put salt and pepper, but I don't think she put any other spices or anything. Not that it would matter, because one was a breakfast thing and the other one, and then the rest of it wasn't. It and now knowing what I know of cooking, like, I probably, as an adult person now who knows how to cook, I probably could make something edible with those ingredients. I'm not gonna rise to the challenge and go try and make it right now or anything, but I'm just saying, I probably could figure out something to do with it if I absolutely had to.
Leave the onions out. The onions
Yeah.
are what's throwing me.
Yeah. Yeah, but she
The rest
wanted,
would have been fine.
but it's dinner, I guess, was her thought. I
Hang
don't
out with the
know. There was
sweet
dinner, and
guys,
then she
but
put like cheddar cheese in it or something. It was weird. It was
you didn't
weird.
even maybe come to the party
Yeah,
because
it was.
you do sweet and
Well,
cheese.
because I think what she was gonna do, what she was going to make was this dish that was like a wild mushroom casserole that she makes. That was mushrooms and rice and
Right.
tomatoes and onions and cheese which
But
is
she only had the cheese and onions out of those ingredients
Yes.
and subbed everything else for wildly
for raisins and kashi, because those are the same
different and
things.
dates and carrots and
Yeah.
kashi.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh no.
yeah. So that was a fun adventure.
Sorry, Mama Davenport. May you rest in peace. But you
Yes.
know that wasn't edible.
Wasn't. Oh, that's
Put my own dad on blast.
Yes.
Put your mom on blast.
that's. Oh no, I totally did that. Peace,
Oh,
Mom.
no.
You know you were a bad cook. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. We all can't be good at everything.
Oh
And
no.
the internet didn't exist back then.
No.
Nowadays, if all you had was kashi and raisins and carrots, you could probably like Google kashi and raisins
Yeah.
and come up with something to like. There'd be a YouTube video being like, "Here's how you make something edible out of these ingredients." And be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, all right."
Oh yeah, no, totally. And also, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I've made my share of cooking snafus. There was a tiny meatloaf incident that my mother harangued me and laughed at me for years about, because I forgot to put breadcrumbs into the meatloaf.
There
And
was
And so
Mr.
it was
Dougie.
the tiniest meatloaf.
Oh, Mr. Dougie also made a tiny meatloaf, but his took a more upsetting turn.
Oh yeah, the aborto loaf.
The Bordeaux loaf, because he followed the directions to the T in his defense, but
There was
at
an
some
error.
point the amount of meat and the amount of ketchup used in the recipe got mixed, and so this meatloaf required a small amount of meat and a large amount of ketchup. I remember saying to him,
That seems weird.
"Yeah, are you sure there's a cup of ketchup in this recipe? That sounds like a lot." And he's like, "It's what it says. It's right here. It's what it says." And I'm like, "Okay, all right. You're making dinner. I'm not going to argue with you." Yeah, so it was just this.
Yep.
He made it in a meatloaf out of bread in a loaf pan, so it was this tiny meatloaf swimming in the sea of ketchupy sauce. Tasted good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
I also
little.
don't think there were any breadcrumbs in that particular recipe. I was like, "Where's the breadcrumbs?" He's like, "It didn't call for any."
Oh yeah. Mine.
Okay.
That was so. I misread the meatloaf directions and put less breadcrumbs than was supposed to. So there were some breadcrumbs. There just wasn't a lot. And so it
Mhm.
was like, you know, a slightly bigger than normal hamburger.
Yeah, he kind of made a boiled Salisbury
Yeah.
steak and ketchup.
Yes, but I heard for Mama Davenport, she mentioned it at every opportunity she possibly could, especially to whatever boyfriend I was dating.
Oh.
Yeah, about the fact that, oh, did Emmett tell you about her tiny meatloaf?
I've never mentioned the aborto loaf to any of Mr. Ducky's boyfriends.
Well, that's good.
I mentioned all his other failings. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a list that I just hand to them.
I'm the best wingman / wife.
It's sparkly. Got a checklist.
Look at his pretty hair. I did that. It's mostly things that are good about me.
Yes. Don't you want to hang out with me?
Actually, you should date me.
That's part of
I don't want to date you, but you should want to.
That's part of the dating. It's gonna also be that you're gonna need to hang out with me.
You're going to need to want to date me so I can shoo you away. It's a complicated relationship. Please sign this form.
That's just too much work.
You have to have it notarized. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules.
Too much trouble. But yes, so that's for my birthday, as every year for my birthday, I like to just, share with strangers and, my internet friends embarrassing anecdotes about my childhood. So here you go. There.
That's
Happy
how you
birthday.
know you've moved on.
Happy birthday to me.
I don't know.
Maybe someone else out there is listening to them and going, "Yeah, I've been there too." Oh,
Mm.
it's nice to know that someone else had a really weird childhood.
My mom also made. I also made a tiny meatloaf.
Yes, I've also made a tiny meatloaf that my mom was sarcastic about for several years, decade. You know, my current significant other was told that on like our second time meeting my mom. That's it was fine.
My parents waited until after we were together to bring out all my embarrassing stories.
Oh no.
He had met me by that point.
I know.
He knew me for a while. He already knew what a disaster I was. He's got no excuse. It wasn't a surprise.
Yeah, no, there's no.
He's like, that girl's got paint in her hair.
I like her. I'm gonna bring her home.
She looks lost and vaguely confused.
But I want to borrow her shirt.
I also want to borrow her top. What's up? And then I had a startled animal response. And I scurried into the underbrush. Only intrigued him more.
I feel like that's fair. Oh, all right, everyone. This has been a weird show. It's a weird time.
Weird time. We had a better show yesterday, but it was lost.
I don't know. I don't know if it was better. I feel like
Say that. No, you have to sell it like.
Oh,
my God.
the Great Lost Show. Yes,
Great Lost
it was
Show.
so much better. So much better. So many better jokes. We had guest stars.
Yeah.
Famous people came to wish me happy birthday.
There was a musical number.
Yeah, there was a montage.
Yeah.
It was
we cried and we grew as people.
Yeah, it was great.
It only lasted apparently less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
But we cried and grew as people.
It was great.
I read your tarot.
Yes, it was the tower and I was gonna die.
No, I read your tarot by pulling a single card out of a Gravity Falls themed card.
It was the tower.
It was the tower. But it was the Uncle Stan tower. So that means you just gotta con harder in the next year.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like I can do that. I gotta grow. I gotta get better at it.
You gotta grow as a con artist.
Yep. Yeah.
All of my tarot readings encourage people to commit crimes. Or be gay. Or do both.
Preferably.
Gay do crimes tarot reading.
Well,
I can make money in doing. Hold up. I think I just found my side hustle.
Don't you have enough side hustles?
No. One of them's gonna. You just have to keep accumulating side hustles and trying to avoid MLMs until one of them makes you money.
Oh, all right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
MLMs?
as this is
because I have some beautiful essential oils I would like to sell you.
No. I don't want essential oils. No, what I was going to say is talking about side hustles, and this being our side hustle, sort of. It's more like a perpendicular hustle.
A vertical hustle.
A vertical
We're
hustle.
Going on
diagonal hustle. Anyway, if you have noticed that we are lacking in music, we still are doing that. We just can't do it on the podcast anymore because I got in trouble.
It's illegal.
The
law came.
The law came and took us down. So if you want to hear the music that I have selected for this episode, you're going to have to go to mixcloud.com/thatdarlingdjduo, and it's there. The most recent episode, 570, which is this one. It's going to be our music supplemental. That's where you'll go to listen to the music, so we don't get in trouble, but you can still have our music. And for people who like our music selection and don't want to listen to us talk, that is a perfect place for you.
For people who miss the mix, what you're going to need to do is download that, download this, get some splicing software.
No, don't bother with that. Because it'll just be weird.
Hey, I'm not going to tell them how to spend their quarantine.
Yes. If you want to, if you want to learn how to do some sound editing, feel free. knock yourself out. It'll be great. But
And
in the
if
meantime,
you would like even more of our side hustles, or you would like to buy some essential oils that I will be making with grass clippings in my backyard and cheap, you know, olive oil, you can follow us on social media.
we're everywhere. We're on.
All over that media.
We're most.
Emmett is at Emmett Davenport on Twitter. I am at Lady Attercop. It's very complicated to find us. You can follow the show. It's at Clockwork Cabaret, or it's at Clockwork Cabaret with the O removed in Clockwork. It's not work we do.
Yeah, and we're on Instagram and all those places you can find all of us. We're mostly active on Twitter. Well, usually. I feel like the pandemic has kind of put that out of whack. But yeah, and then if you want to find all of that information where we are, you can just go to agonyauntstudios.com and all of that stuff is listed. And I think that brings us to the end of the show.
You can also find our Patreon, our Coffee, our PayPal.
You can also go to our Redbubble shop if you want to buy stickers and things or whenever we come up with a ridiculous idea, we put stuff up there. There's masks.
Buy masks.
Yes, you can buy a fuckity buy mask because I thought it was funny. You can't barely read it, but it's there.
Oh, it's there.
It's subtle.
It's a pink and blue mask. Fuckity buy on it. Subtle.
I like subtle.
Our show.
It is. I feel like it was a perfect representation. And so, with that, I'm going to bid all of you a fond farewell. Also, happy birthday to me.
I was just going to say, and a happy birthday to you, Emmett. Is
Yes.
now when I sing? Because I was going to sing.
No.
A birthday song
We're gonna
compose for you.
That's later.
Emmett Davenport, you cruised into port. It's your birthday.
That song is.
Hey. I spent so much time. I did not write this off the cuff. You are so dang short, but you're a big sport for your birthday. It's your birthday. Listeners, there are jazz hands. She could see them. She's impressed.
I'm actually.
It's so good.
You managed to insult my height.
It's not an insult. It's
You
a
told
fact.
me I was short. I mean, I know I'm short, but you could have rhymed another word.
With
Cohort.
Davenport?
Cohort. You know.
Okay, there's two. Cohort, short, sport.
Court. Lort.
Yeah. Wart. Would you rather have wart?
No, I'm good. Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine with short. Okay.
Spent so much time on this.
Yes, I
All
could tell.
last night.
Yes.
Writing furiously. Keyboard, little notepad.
Where is what? You were not playing a keyboard.
I mean, I wasn't playing it well, but it was involved. I didn't claim I composed the music. I just was slapping it a couple times.
All right. Okay. All right. I think this train wreck is done now. I think the train wreck has pulled into the station.
It's a party train. This is your birthday train. It's not stopping. Oh my God, the brakes have gone off. It's gonna kill so many people. Emmett, why is this what you wanted for your birthday? Why, Emmett? Why?
That is the question that I ask myself all the time. All the time. And with that, this has been the Clockwork Cabaret. She is Lady Attercop.
She is the birthday girl, Emmett Davenport.
And remember, it's not work we do.
It's love.
Do you feel the need to deliver terrifying yet adorable death at a distance? Do you mourn the lack of weapons that fire deadly animals? If so, then pick up Lord Evan's drop bear cannon today. Drop bears are the carnivorous cousins of the gentle koalas who infest the invisible land. When exposed to the scent of blood, these small bears turn into small balls of fur and death. The drop bear launcher safely contains these dangerous animals, and with a clockwork-powered catapult engine will propel these small deadly creatures directly into your enemies. Terrify your enemies, acquaintance, and social workers with Lord Evan's drop bear cannon. Make your guests stare in awe at your terrifying masculinity as you hold up an enormous cannon and drive away pesky foes with nature's perfect weapon, the drop bear.
Lord Evans is not responsible for any injuries that may be suffered while loading the patented drop bear cannon. Extreme caution is advised when handling. In the case of a misfire, please contact our specialized maintenance crews with your loud, terrified screams.
Ask for it by name at your local gun range. Buy now and receive an extra cage of drop bears.